The galaxy had finally realized the truth. Humanity was no longer a myth. Humanity was awake, and humanity was rising. Elias Ward stood on the observation deck of the flagship, watching distant stars flicker like tiny beacons of possibility. Over the past year, the humans had awakened fully, restored fleets, reclaimed colonies, and proven their strength. Alien civilizations across countless systems had witnessed the return of the species they once believed extinct. Fear, respect, and curiosity now accompanied every mention of humans. But Elias knew that fear alone was not enough. Humans had survived wars, darkness, and the passage of millennia. They had adapted, rebuilt, and thrived. Now it was time to define their place in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through endurance, innovation, and the courage that had always set them apart. Earth had become a hub of activity. The once hidden vaults now buzzed with life, filled with humans, alien allies, engineers, scientists, strategists, and soldiers. Entire fleets rested in orbital docks, ready for exploration, defense, or demonstration. Children ran freely through the halls, learning about the stars and the history of their people. Every human, young and old, understood the weight of their awakening. They were the bearers of a legacy long forgotten, the living proof that humanity could not be erased. Rintal, the Kalari archaeologist, had become both advisor and observer. He walked among the humans, recording their progress and marveling at their creativity. "Your people, they have exceeded anything I imagined," he said to Elias. Elias smiled faintly, his eyes focused on the stars. "They are humans. We endure, we adapt, and we rise. Always." The first major diplomatic contact with other civilizations occurred at the edge of the Orion sector. A coalition of small empires, curious and cautious, sent emissaries to meet the humans. Elias greeted them personally, standing tall and commanding as he addressed the delegation. "Humanity has returned," he said, his voice steady and clear. "We have slept for 5,000 years, but we have awakened. We do not seek war nor conquest. We seek understanding, collaboration, and the chance to reclaim our place among the stars. We are human. We endure, we adapt, we rise." The alien emissaries were impressed. They had expected arrogance, aggression, or hesitation. Instead, they found confidence, intelligence, and a willingness to communicate. Whispers spread across their fleets. Humanity was not only powerful but honorable, a species worth watching closely. But not all reactions were peaceful. Larger empires, once dominant, saw humanity as a threat to their authority. They deployed fleets to test human strength, expecting to crush a species they assumed weak. Instead, they met precision, strategy, and adaptability unlike anything they had faced. Human warships moved unpredictably, yet flawlessly. Missiles struck with perfect timing, energy shields absorbed enemy fire, and coordinated maneuvers disabled entire fleets without unnecessary destruction. Enemy commanders were forced to retreat, shaken and unsure how to respond. Reports of these encounters spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, the name humanity inspired both fear and admiration. Legends of the species' ancient courage were now reality. Every empire that had once considered humans extinct now reconsidered its position. Back on Earth, Elias convened a council of leaders. Scientists, engineers, generals, and strategists gathered to discuss the next steps. "The galaxy will not stop watching us," Elias said. "Some will attack, some will flee, some may even join us. But one thing is certain. Humanity will no longer be underestimated. We have awakened, and we will endure. We will adapt, and we will shape the future." Rintal spoke from the side, his voice calm but firm. "Your people are extraordinary. You have shown creativity, strategy, and courage unmatched in the galaxy. Now it is time to lead, not just survive." Elias nodded. "We lead with wisdom, courage, and strength. Humanity does not seek to destroy. We seek to endure, to thrive, and to ensure that no one forgets us again." Human engineers and scientists continued to explore and reclaim ancient knowledge from the galaxy. Abandoned research stations, derelict colonies, and forgotten artifacts were studied, repaired, and improved. Humans combined these discoveries with their own ingenuity, creating technologies that even older empires had not imagined. Fleets were reinforced with new designs, faster engines, stronger shields, and advanced weapon systems. Soldiers trained rigorously, mastering both old human techniques and new strategies derived from alien innovations. Children gifted with intelligence and curiosity contributed to research and simulations, learning quickly and providing insights no one expected. The humans were no longer just a species. They were a civilization reborn, fully aware of the galaxy's challenges and possibilities. The tipping point came when an aggressive alien empire, confident in their power, launched a fleet toward Earth. They believed they could subdue the humans before they grew stronger, but humanity was ready. Every ship, soldier, and strategy had been prepared for this moment. The battle began in the void above Earth's orbit. Enemy ships attacked with speed and firepower, but the humans responded with precision, strategy, and adaptability. Elias commanded the fleet personally, moving with calm authority. "Remember," he said to his crew, "we do not fight recklessly. We fight with strategy, precision, and courage. We are humans. We endure, we adapt, we rise." The battle raged, but human tactics were flawless. Enemy ships were disabled, their formations broken, their morale shattered. Humanity emerged victorious without unnecessary destruction, proving once again that they were a force not to be underestimated. Across the galaxy, the news of humanity's victory spread rapidly. Some empires prepared defenses, others sought alliances, realizing that humans could be powerful friends or dangerous enemies. The galaxy was alive with whispers of awe, fear, and admiration. Elias stood on the flagship's bridge watching the aftermath. "They will not forget us again," he said quietly to Rintal. Rintal nodded. "No, humanity is no longer a legend. You have returned, and the galaxy knows it." Elias smiled faintly, thinking of the humans still awakening in the vaults below. Each one was a soldier, engineer, scientist, or thinker, ready to contribute to the future. Humanity had endured the unimaginable, and now it was stronger than ever. In the months that followed, humans expanded their presence further into the galaxy. Colonies were reclaimed, trade routes restored, and diplomatic ties established with cautious allies. Knowledge was shared, technologies improved, and fleets reinforced. Humanity was no longer hiding. They were a rising power, respected and feared by all who knew of them. Elias addressed the newly formed Galactic Council of Human Representatives. "We have awakened from a long slumber," he said. "We have proven our strength, our adaptability, and our determination. But this is only the beginning. Humanity does not seek war for conquest. We seek survival, knowledge, and the chance to ensure our place in the galaxy. We endure, we adapt, we rise." The humans cheered, their voices echoing through the council hall. For the first time in 5,000 years, they were not just alive, they were united, empowered, and ready to shape the galaxy's future. Even Rintel, who had once doubted the humans' ability to reclaim their legacy, was amazed. He watched as humans negotiated, explored, and innovated, their courage and intelligence inspiring even the most skeptical alien observers. "The galaxy will never be the same," he said quietly to Elias. Elias nodded. "It will not. Humanity has returned, and we will ensure that we are never forgotten again." The final moment came when Elias stood once more on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of civilizations both powerful and fragile. But humanity was no longer small, hidden, or forgotten. They had awakened, fought, adapted, and risen. "We have slept for 5,000 years," Elias said softly, his voice carrying through the quiet chamber. "But now we are awake. We are humans. We endure, we adapt, and we will never vanish again." Below him, humans continued to work, learn, and grow. Their ships glided through space, their colonies flourished, and their minds reached further than ever before. The legend of humanity had become reality, and somewhere across countless systems, alien civilizations whispered in awe and fear, "Humanity has returned. The fire species has awakened." Elias smiled faintly, knowing that the future was uncertain. But one truth remained unshakable. Humanity would endure, adapt, and rise, no matter the challenge. The galaxy had seen the return of humanity. The long-sleeping giant was awake, and the stars would never be the same. For countless years, the galaxy had been ruled by mighty empires. The Dominari Empire stretched across thousands of star systems. The Kraylan armadas moved like swarms of fire through the void, crushing smaller nations beneath their strength. The Thalix Dominion, cold and calculating, controlled trade routes and wealth with sharp claws of greed. Among these giants, the name of Earth had long been forgotten. To most aliens, Earth was nothing but a rumor, a small blue planet lost in a spiral arm of the galaxy. Some said it had been destroyed in wars long ago. Others claimed its people were weak and simple, unable to survive among the stars. For centuries, no voice of humanity had been heard in the great halls of the Galactic Council. The silence was so deep that many believed humans had never truly mattered at all. But silence is a strange thing. It can hide weakness, but it can also hide strength. Far in the Sol system, beyond the eyes of alien spies, humanity had been working. While the empires fought wars and crushed rivals, Earth's people remembered their history. They remembered how they had once faced impossible odds, wars on their own planet, storms and disasters, hunger and disease. Every time they had endured. Every time they had risen again. Humanity had learned that survival was not just about strength. It was about patience, invention, and unity when the storm came, and so, while the galaxy laughed at Earth's silence, humanity built something the stars had never seen. Rumors began. It started with whispers. In the border sectors, patrol ships vanished. Entire fleets sent out to chase pirates disappeared without leaving a signal. At first, the empires blamed each other. The Dominari accused the Krelin. The Krelin swore it was the Thalix. The Thalix declared it was some unknown power rising in the dark. None of them could prove the truth. Then came the signal. In a forgotten trading station orbiting a dying sun, a lone merchant vessel picked up a strange transmission. It was faint, almost like an echo, but the words were clear. Humanity endures. The message spread like fire across the communication webs. Some laughed at it, thinking it a trick. But others grew nervous. That single phrase carried a weight that no one could ignore. If humanity still lived, if they had returned, then the galaxy might face something it had never expected. The forgotten archives deep within the archives of the Thalix Dominion, ancient records were opened. Scholars searched through data older than their own empire. They found tales of the Terran Wars, where humans had fought against odds that should have broken them. They found records of Earth's early fleets, small, fragile ships powered by simple engines, yet crewed by men and women who refused to surrender. One Thalix scholar spoke before his council. Do not underestimate this species. Their strength is not in their size or their ships, but in their will. If they have survived in silence until now, then they have been preparing. But the rulers of the Thalix only laughed. They believed no world could stay hidden for so long, not with the eyes of empires watching every star. Still, the rumors grew. The Krelin hunt, the Krelin armada, proud and ruthless, decided to prove the whispers false. A fleet of warships was sent toward the Sol system. They expected to find ruins, perhaps a few broken colonies, nothing more. But when they reached the edge of human space, they found something strange. There were no signals, no broadcasts, no trade ships moving between planets. The system was silent, too silent. Even in forgotten worlds, there were always faint transmissions, signs of life. But here there was nothing but stillness, as if the system itself held its breath. The Krelin commander ordered his ships forward, deeper into the Sol system. Scouts moved toward Mars, toward Jupiter, toward the asteroid belt. They found mining stations abandoned but not destroyed. They found habitats empty yet carefully preserved, as if people had left them with purpose. And then, one by one, the Krelin scouts went dark. The commander sent more ships. They too vanished without a trace. Panic spread in the fleet. The commander tried to retreat, but his engines suddenly failed. Sensors picked up a strange distortion in space, like a shadow moving just beyond sight. Then, in the blackness, a voice spoke across every channel. You should not have come. The fleet was never seen again. Fear in the council. When news of the lost Krelin fleet reached the Galactic Council, fear struck deep. Even the Dominari, who prided themselves on their strength, felt unease. Who could erase an entire fleet without leaving a single wreck? Who could silence dozens of warships without firing a shot? Some said it was a new empire rising from the void. Others whispered that it was humanity, returned at last. The Dominari Emperor scoffed. If humans still live, they are nothing but insects hiding in shadows. We will crush them as we crush all others. But the Thalix scholar who had warned his council spoke again. You do not understand. Humans do not fight wars the way we do. They wait, they prepare, and when they strike, it is with everything they have. If they have returned, then we should be afraid. Still, the council argued, blind to the truth. Humanity's secret, while the empires doubted, humanity was not idle. Deep beneath the oceans of Earth, in vast hidden docks carved into stone and steel, the greatest project of human history waited. For generations, scientists, engineers, and dreamers had worked in secret. They had built technologies stolen from the stars and reshaped them with human hands. They had created weapons unlike any seen before, powered not by greed but by the need to survive. At the heart of these efforts was a single vessel, larger than any ship in the galaxy, armored with alloys that bent energy and swallowed plasma fire, equipped with weapons that could split moons and engines that could cross light years in days. It was more than a ship. It was a symbol. Its name was whispered by every worker, every child, every leader on Earth, eternal resolve. And soon, the galaxy would see it. The calm before the storm in the last days before its launch, Earth remained quiet. No signals were sent beyond the system. No warnings were given. To the galaxy, it still seemed as if humanity had vanished long ago, but within the Sol system, every human heart beat with the same rhythm. They knew that the time of silence was ending. The galaxy had mocked them. The empires had forgotten them. But now the forgotten world was about to rise again. And when Earth's battleship arrived, no empire would ever laugh again. The void of space stretched endlessly, a dark canvas dotted with distant stars. From the far edges of known systems, ships of the Dominary, Krelin, and Thalix fleets had gathered. Their commanders watched the Sol system carefully, unsure of what they might find. The rumors of humanity's return had grown too persistent to ignore. Entire fleets now moved cautiously toward the center of the spiral arm seeking answers. And then, the first sign appeared. It started as a faint glow on the edge of the system, a shimmer against the darkness. Observers initially thought it was a reflection from a distant planet or a rare energy storm. But as it grew, it became unmistakable. A shape emerged from the void, colossal in size and unlike any ship known in the galaxy. Its hull gleamed with a color that seemed to shift with every angle, as if the metal itself were alive. The eternal resolve had arrived. Shock across the galaxy. The first reports came from the Dominari patrols. It cannot be," stammered the captain of a scout cruiser. "No human ship should be this large. It's impossible." In the Krelin fleet, the response was similar but sharper. Officers shouted in alarm, trying to convince their leaders it was a trick of sensors. Yet every scan confirmed the same truth. The ship was real, enormous and armed beyond imagination. The Thalix Dominion called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. From their observation chambers, the representatives of the Empire saw it themselves. The human battleship moved like a silent shadow through space. It carried no banners, no signals of diplomacy, only the presence of power. And with its presence came a warning. Humanity was no longer the species the galaxy had forgotten. The scale of humanity's creation, the eternal resolve, was unlike any other warship. Its hull was wider than many small planet cities, coated with alloys that bent light and absorbed energy attacks. Towers of sensors and weapon arrays rose from its surface, precise and deadly, yet elegant in design. Engines larger than star cruisers thrummed quietly beneath the ship, capable of traveling faster than light without the dangerous distortions other empires' ships experienced. What truly set it apart was not its size, but its design. Every corner of the battleship reflected human ingenuity, efficient, practical, and adaptable. Weapon arrays could retract or extend depending on threats. Shields shifted across sections of the hull to focus power where needed. And the ship's central AI, built to assist but never replace human decision, coordinated every movement with perfect accuracy. For the commanders of the galaxy's fleets, it was terrifying, not because it moved, not because it could fight, but because it made sense. Every aspect of it suggested thought, strategy, and preparation far beyond what anyone expected from humans. The arrival at neutral space. As the Eternal Resolve passed the orbit of Jupiter, it activated long-range scanners observing every fleet in the nearby sectors. It did not broadcast a greeting. It did not fire weapons. It simply existed, a testament to human power and patience. The fleets responded instinctively. The Krelin warships tried to form a line, a defensive posture meant to intimidate. The Dominari adjusted their formations, unsure whether to attack or retreat. The Thalix representatives debated whether to issue warnings or request a truce. But the humans did not move with haste. They did not provoke. They waited, and waiting, as the galaxy would soon learn, was humanity's greatest weapon. First contact. It was the Krelin commander who made the first move. Overconfidence had always been their flaw. Believing that humans were weak, he sent a single strike cruiser toward the battleship. His intention was simple: test the waters, see if the rumors were true. The Eternal Resolve responded instantly. Its sensors picked up the cruiser's approach. Within moments, a precise energy net enveloped the ship, immobilizing it without a single hull breach. The Krelin captain could do nothing but watch as his vessel was gently but firmly held in place. A display of control so perfect it left his crew speechless. A voice finally came over the channel, not hostile, but clear and firm. You should not approach without invitation. Retreat and report the truth you see. The Krelin commander stared at the view screen, unable to speak. For the first time in his life, he felt a fear that had nothing to do with his own mortality. It was fear of the unexpected, of a species that had prepared for every eventuality and now controlled the situation. Without haste or violence, rumors become reality news. Of the immobilized Krelin cruiser spread faster than any fleet could move. From the edge of the Sol system to the Galactic Council chambers, leaders who once laughed at Earth now shivered at the sight of the Eternal Resolve. Reports described the ship's sheer size, the elegance of its systems, and the unmistakable precision of its operations. Every message carried the same tone. Humans were no longer a threat to be ignored. They were a force that demanded attention. Scholars and military analysts argued over what they had seen. Some theorized that humans had discovered a form of energy manipulation beyond their understanding. Others suggested that it was sheer luck, that the battleship had been built for defense only. But deep down, every leader knew the truth. Humanity had planned this arrival for generations. Every detail, every mechanism, every weapon had been designed with purpose. The test of the galaxy. For the next days, fleets from 3 empires approached the human battleship, carefully, cautiously. Each tested communications, each tried subtle maneuvers to gauge reaction. And each time the humans responded with calm precision. They did not attack without reason. They did not yield when threatened. They simply demonstrated capability, control, and readiness. Dominari admirals whispered among themselves, "This is no accident. Humanity has been waiting for this moment. Every ship we see here is part of a larger plan we cannot yet understand." The Thalic scholar, who had once warned of human resilience, now addressed the council with urgency. "You see now what we feared. Humanity does not act recklessly. They wait, they plan, and they will strike only when it benefits them most. Do not make the mistake of underestimating them." The Dominari Emperor, however, refused to believe it. He still clung to pride, claiming, "They are just a single ship. Even if it is large, it cannot withstand an entire armada." But as he spoke, the Eternal Resolve demonstrated its capability again. Without firing a single shot, it created gravitational distortions around nearby asteroids, moving them with precision to block observation points and potential attack paths. It was a silent warning, showing that human strategy extended beyond weapons. It touched the very fabric of space itself. The galaxy watches for countless hours. The Eternal Resolve drifted through neutral space, observed by hundreds of ships. Scientists and commanders recorded every detail: the ship's speed, its maneuvering patterns, its shield responses, and the discipline of its crew. It became clear that this was no ordinary vessel. This was a symbol, a message. The message was simple but unmistakable. Humanity had returned, and they were no longer the forgotten people of a backwater planet. They were a force that the galaxy could neither ignore nor underestimate. From that moment, a single thought spread across empires. If humanity could create a ship like this in silence, then what else had they prepared? The calm before action. Despite the awe and fear, the humans did not celebrate. In the command chambers of the Eternal Resolve, Captain Elias and his officers remained focused. They had waited centuries for this moment. They had trained, built, and prepared for the day the galaxy would finally notice Earth again. Elias looked at the stars beyond the viewport. "We do not strike first," he said calmly. "We wait. We show them what humanity is, but we do not act without reason. Let them see our resolve, not our wrath." His officers nodded. Every human aboard the ship understood the balance they held. The galaxy had mocked them, ignored them, and assumed they were weak. Now they held the power to shift that balance forever, and the galaxy, unaware of the depths of humanity's patience and preparation, had no idea what was coming next. The galaxy was in turmoil. Fleets of the Dominari, Krelon, and Thalix empires hovered near the Sol system, unsure how to act. Each admiral reported in disbelief, recounting encounters with the Eternal Resolve. Not a single human ship had fired lethal weapons, yet every fleet had been tested, measured, and found wanting. For centuries, humans had been considered weak, irrelevant, and incapable of challenging galactic powers. Now in a single week, the entire perception of humanity had changed. The empires had watched their fleets falter before the calculated actions of a single battleship. Their arrogance had been shattered, and the humans were not finished. A call to the Council in the heart of the galaxy, the Galactic Council convened in emergency. Holographic projections of war zones, fleet movements, and reports of the human ship filled the chamber. Representatives argued heatedly, fear and disbelief written on their faces. The Dominari Emperor slammed his hand on the council table. "We cannot allow this species to challenge us. They are a single world. Their fleets are small. We are the galaxy's power." The Thalix scholar shook his head, frustration etched into every line of his face. "You still do not see? They are not a threat because of numbers. They are a threat because of thought. They have prepared while we ignored them. They control the battlefield without lifting a weapon. If we do not act carefully, we risk our entire civilization." The Krelin delegate, usually brash and confident, was pale and quiet. "Their ship, it sees everything. Our fleets cannot move without them knowing. They can strike at any moment. We underestimated them." And then a simple message appeared across the council channels. It was from Earth, transmitted directly from the Eternal Resolve. "Leaders of the galaxy, hear this. Humanity has returned. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek war. But we will act to protect what we have built. Meet us in the neutral zone. Discuss peace or face the consequences of ignorance." The chamber fell silent. For the first time, the empires faced humanity not with rumor or assumption, but with undeniable authority. Preparing for the meeting, Captain Elias oversaw the preparations for the council. His crew moved efficiently, ensuring that every protocol was ready. They were not there to intimidate unnecessarily. Their goal was clarity. The galaxy had ignored humans for centuries. Now it would be forced to acknowledge them. Elias turned to his first officer, Commander Arya. "We do not threaten. We do not lie. But we must show them that humanity is not to be ignored. Let them see the strength behind our restraint." Arya nodded. "Every fleet, every delegate, they will see. We are prepared for any outcome, but our priority is peace." The Eternal Resolve moved calmly toward the designated neutral zone, a place chosen for fairness and observation. Sensors mapped the approach of the Empire's fleets, recording every movement, every hesitation. Humans had planned this encounter for generations, and every detail mattered. The arrival at the neutral zone. When the human battleship arrived, the fleets of the Empires were already waiting. Thousands of warships formed a vast circle around the neutral zone, their energy shields glowing in patterns that suggested readiness for conflict. The Eternal Resolve approached slowly, deliberately, its massive hull casting shadows across the surrounding stars. It was a display of power without aggression. Every commander watching understood that the humans could destroy entire fleets if they chose. Yet they moved with patience and control. The symbolism was clear. Humanity had the power to dominate, but they were offering reason instead. Opening statements, in a specially constructed communication channel, Captain Elias addressed the Empires. His voice was calm, firm, and unwavering. "Leaders of the Dominari, Krelin, and Thalix," he began. "For centuries, humans have been underestimated. You have believed we were weak, irrelevant, or extinct. You were wrong. We have prepared quietly, learned from our history, and built capabilities that ensure the survival of our species and our world. But understand this. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. Humanity acts for its own survival and for the protection of our achievements. We offer you a choice. Recognize humanity as a power in the galaxy and work with us toward peace, or continue your ignorance and face the consequences." For a moment, silence filled the channels. No leader spoke immediately. They could feel the weight behind the words calm, controlled, and absolute. Humanity was no longer a species to be mocked. They were a force to be respected. The Empire reactions. The Dominari Emperor leaned back in his chair, struggling to maintain pride. "They are a single ship," he muttered. "They cannot possibly have the numbers to enforce this." Yet reports from the front lines contradicted him. His fleets had faltered before, demonstrating that humans could manipulate space and strategy in ways no one had anticipated. Even without firing weapons, the Eternal Resolve had proven superior. The Kraylan commander, pale and tense, spoke next. "We have underestimated them for too long. They see everything we do. We cannot ignore them. They are beyond what we expected." The Thalic scholar, calm and steady, finally addressed the council. "It is time we acknowledge the truth. Humanity has returned. They have prepared. They do not act recklessly. If we wish to survive and maintain peace, we must listen. They demand reason, and they deserve respect." Negotiations begin. Over the next several hours, discussions continued. The humans presented clear arguments: recognition of Earth's sovereignty, respect for human technological and scientific achievements, and a commitment from empires to maintain peace. The empires hesitated. For centuries, their arrogance had gone unchecked. Now they faced a species whose patience and preparation had rendered their fleets uncertain, their strategies ineffective. The galaxy had been reminded that strength was not measured solely in numbers or aggression. It was measured in intelligence, unity, and perseverance. Captain Elias remained calm throughout. He understood that fear was a tool, but respect was the ultimate goal. The humans were not there to conquer, but to be acknowledged. And the display of controlled power ensured that no empire could ignore them. The first signs of submission. By the end of the first day, cracks began to appear in the empire's arrogance. Dominari delegates agreed to temporary recognition of human sovereignty. Kraylan leaders, shaken by previous encounters with the battleship, promised to limit fleet movements in nearby sectors. Even the Thalic's dominion, always cautious, acknowledged that humanity had prepared in ways they could not fully understand, and committed to diplomacy rather than aggression. For the first time in centuries, humans were no longer whispered about in the shadows. They were recognized formally and publicly as a power to be respected in the galaxy. Humanity's lesson on the bridge of the Eternal Resolve, Captain Elias addressed his crew. "Today we have shown the galaxy that humans endure, that we prepare, and that we act with purpose." They begged for peace not because they feared war, but because they now understand that ignorance is impossible when dealing with humanity. Commander Arya added, "They see our strength, but they also see our restraint. That balance is what will maintain peace." The crew nodded, proud and calm. Humanity had proven that patience, intelligence, and unity could achieve what aggression could not. Preparing for the future, even as negotiations continued, humans remained vigilant. They knew that recognition was only the first step. To maintain peace and ensure the galaxy understood their strength, humanity would need to continue demonstrating innovation, strategy, and foresight. Yet for the first time in centuries, humans felt the quiet satisfaction of acknowledgement. The galaxy that had ignored them mocked them, and assumed their extinction now faced a species that had risen from the shadows to demand respect. And the empires, once arrogant and dismissive, had no choice but to listen. A new era begins, as the Eternal Resolve rested in the neutral zone. The first agreements were signed. Trade routes would be opened, conflicts paused, and human technology would be studied, under supervision and with the consent of Earth. For centuries, humans had waited for this moment. Their endurance, intelligence, and discipline had reshaped the galaxy. Captain Elias looked out at the stars, calm but determined. "We have been seen. We have been recognized. But this is only the beginning. Humanity has a place among the stars now, and we will not be ignored again." The battleship remained in orbit, a silent guardian and symbol of human perseverance. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity could no longer be underestimated, and those who once mocked Earth would never forget the day humans rose from silence to command respect. The galaxy had changed. For centuries, humans had been ignored, dismissed, and considered weak. Entire empires believed that Earth's people were insignificant, a minor species lost in the spiral arms of the galaxy. But now, After the arrival of the eternal resolve and the calculated demonstration of human skill, intelligence, and restraint, the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity had returned, not as a timid, forgotten species, but as a force capable of shaping history. Captain Elias stood on the bridge of the eternal resolve, overlooking the swirling stars of the neutral zone. His crew worked with calm precision, yet the weight of what had been accomplished hung in the air. Humanity had forced the great empires to acknowledge them without firing a single destructive shot. The message was clear. Humans had patience, ingenuity, and the will to endure. The aftermath of recognition, in the weeks that followed the council meeting, the empires struggled to adjust to a new reality. The Dominari, who had once ruled vast sectors with confidence, now hesitated before issuing orders. Their admirals had learned firsthand that numbers and arrogance could not guarantee victory. The Kraylan Armada, notorious for their aggression, moved more cautiously, avoiding confrontation with human space. Even the Thalix Dominion, renowned for their strategy and intelligence, began to respect humanity's foresight. Across the stars, reports of the Eternal Resolve's capabilities spread, creating a ripple of recognition and caution. Humans had not demanded submission. They had not used force to intimidate. Instead, they had shown mastery, patience, and clarity. And the galaxy had listened. Humanity expands its influence with recognition secured. Humanity began to establish a presence among the stars. Trade routes were reopened under human guidance, and exploratory missions ventured into systems previously overlooked. Humans shared technology cautiously, ensuring that no empire could dominate the others unfairly, but also demonstrating the innovation that had enabled their rise. The Eternal Resolve became more than a battleship. It became a symbol. Every planet that saw its presence knew that humanity could protect itself, and that the species of Earth was capable of guiding the future of the galaxy with reason, not recklessness. Captain Elias addressed his officers in the command room one evening. "We have proven our strength, but this is only the first step. Humanity must now show that power can be wielded wisely. Our goal is not to conquer, but to lead through example, to teach the galaxy that intelligence and patience are as strong as any weapon." The officers nodded. They understood that the Eternal Resolve was a tool of diplomacy as much as it was a tool of power. Lessons for the empires. The empires quickly realized that direct confrontation with humans was no longer an option. They had attempted to test human strength through fleets and cloaked ships, only to find themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Intelligence, strategy, and preparation had won the day. Even those leaders who had once mocked humanity began to respect them. The Dominari Emperor, who had originally dismissed Earth as irrelevant, now issued an order to study human technology and tactics carefully. The Kraylan fleet commanders implemented training programs to prevent underestimating species in the future. And the Thalix Dominion scholars wrote extensively about the human rise, detailing lessons that would influence their civilization for generations. Humanity had achieved something remarkable: respect without conquest, authority without aggression, and peace through the demonstration of skill and intellect. A symbol of unity. The Eternal Resolve traveled throughout human space, visiting colonies and outposts. Its presence reminded humans of their strength and potential, inspiring innovation, learning, and cooperation. The crew worked not only as military personnel but also as teachers, sharing knowledge about strategy, science, and diplomacy. On Earth itself, celebrations honored the patience and endurance of the species. Statues and monuments commemorated not only the battleship, but the ideals it represented: preparation, intelligence, courage, and unity. Across the globe, humans realized that they were no longer a forgotten race. The galaxy now looked to Earth as an example of what patience and preparation could achieve. The message to the stars captain, Elias, sent a final communication to the empires, leaders of the galaxy. Humanity has returned. We do not seek conquest and we do not desire war, but we will act to protect our world and our achievements. Let this be a reminder. Strength is not measured by numbers alone. It is measured by knowledge, patience, and the will to endure. Humanity has proven its place among the stars, and we intend to uphold that place with wisdom and clarity. The message was simple, yet profound. Across the galaxy it spread quickly, carried by transmission networks, fleet channels, and diplomatic envoys. Every species, from the smallest outpost to the greatest empire, heard it and understood. Humanity was no longer a minor player. The future of humanity, with peace established and recognition secured, humans began to look beyond the Sol system. Exploratory fleets set out to map distant sectors, discovering new planets and civilizations. Humans offered alliances based on cooperation, trade, and shared knowledge rather than domination or fear. Captain Elias watched one fleet depart for uncharted space. He spoke quietly to his first officer. "This is only the beginning. Humanity has shown the galaxy what we are capable of. Now we must show them what we can build, discover, and protect. We have a responsibility to lead, but not to rule through fear. That is the true strength of humanity." Commander Arya nodded. "They will see and they will respect us, not just for our power, but for the wisdom behind it." Unity. Across species, interestingly, the demonstration of human strength had unforeseen consequences. Other species, inspired by humanity's example, began to cooperate more willingly. They realized that patience, intelligence, and unity could accomplish more than endless war and competition. Small alliances formed, trade routes stabilized, and disputes that might have escalated into conflict were resolved through diplomacy. Humans became not only respected, but admired. Their endurance, creativity, and strategic thinking became the standard by which other civilizations measured themselves. Humanity's return had reshaped the culture of the galaxy itself. A time of peace decades passed, and humanity continued to grow as a force of reason and innovation. The eternal resolve, though still armed and ready, became a symbol of protection rather than aggression. Children on distant colonies learned stories of how one battleship had changed the course of history, not through destruction, but through strategy, patience, and skill. Captain Elias, now older, stood once more on the bridge. The galaxy was at peace and humans were recognized everywhere. He gazed at the stars, proud of what his species had achieved. Humanity had endured ridicule, neglect, and doubt, and had risen to claim its rightful place. "Look how far we've come," he said quietly. "The galaxy sees us now, and they will never forget it." Humanity's legacy in the years that followed, humans expanded their influence across the stars. New settlements flourished. Alliances strengthened, and civilizations once distant and hostile now regarded humans with respect and trust. The story of Earth's return, led by the eternal resolve, became legend. Humanity had proven a vital truth. Endurance, intelligence, and unity could overcome the greatest challenges. They had shown that even the smallest, most underestimated species could rise to command respect across the galaxy. And through it all, the humans remembered the lesson that had guided them through centuries of silence. True strength was not in aggression, but in preparation, wisdom, and the courage to act when the moment was right. A new dawn, the galaxy awoke to a new era. Humanity's name was spoken with respect, their history studied, their achievements celebrated. The empires that had once mocked Earth now sought cooperation and guidance. The eternal resolve sailed among the stars, a quiet guardian and a symbol of human perseverance. Captain Elias, standing on the bridge one last time before retiring, looked at the endless expanse of stars and smiled. Humanity had risen not through conquest but through vision, preparation, and unity. The galaxy had learned a powerful lesson. Underestimate humans at your peril. For they endure, they adapt, and they rise. And thus, a new dawn for humanity began. A dawn in which Earth was no longer forgotten, and the people of the planet had become a guiding light for the stars.